Hello people, Lek here. Today I want to talk about the WZ-110. It's the Tier 8 Chinese heavy tank. This is a very interesting tank. So I'm going to get right to the numbers. Let's take a look at the stats. So I want to compare the tank today to the IS-3. Now there's obviously a lot of different IS-3 variants in the game. I've lost count at this point. But I just want to compare the two tech tree tanks, which is IS-3 and the 110. So right off the bat, the biggest difference you see between the 110 and all the rest of the IS-3 variants is the gun. They all use the 122 or one type of 122 millimeter cannon. The WZ-110 uses a 100 millimeter cannon, so it really feels more like you're shooting a Russian medium gun, like a T-44, T-54, T-62 type cannon, versus the usual derpy IS style cannon. Now, I know some of you will say, well, yeah, but you don't get the 400 Alpha, but that really doesn't matter because if you look at the Lao or the Tiger II, they also have a 310 Alpha gun. So in that regard, it's essentially meaningless. Right off the bat, you can see the DPM is quite a bit higher, almost 300. Big difference, a big advantage for the 110. Another advantage is the gun depression. It has an extra degree. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot, trust me. Gun handling, as you can see, is much better. Aim time is, 48% lower. Dispersion is tighter. The gun is just, and driving this tank, it feels much better than your typical IS gun, which it should. It's 100 millimeter. There are some disadvantages. If you look at the penetration, the AP round is 215 versus 225. APCR is the same. And because of the smaller caliber, the HE is a lot lower. You're looking at only 50, so you will be using a lot less HE when you run this gun. But for everyday combat, going against other heavies, this gun is really enjoyable, and this tank is really good. The -6 is really makes a big difference. Power to weight is actually a little bit lower than the IS-3, but in driving this tank, I did not feel like it was really much slower. The IS-3 is really quick because it has a lot of horsepower, but top speed is about the same, and it didn't feel like it was a big difference. Looking at the armor of the 110, this is another big difference between it and the IS-3. The upper glacis, the front part of the tank, is a lot more sloped up than the IS-3, so it's actually very troll. Now, if you combine that with the -6, you can see the effective thickness is really high. So I've got it tilted now at the -6, and look at the upper glacis here. We're at 400, 300 something. There's nothing that's going to pen that. Now, the downside to that is this lower plate right here is really high and it's really sloped. I mean, you can see it's a big lower plate, much bigger than the IS-3. So you have to keep this thing hauled down because this is a big target, and you can see it's not even 200 millimeters. Everything is going through that. So if you keep it hauled down, maybe face hug like a rock or something, or just keep this part completely covered, this tank can actually get a ton of bounces. Hatches are a little bit bigger in the IS-3 Stuart, so you will get the hatch spammed on you. But otherwise, it's really got a great armor, and it does get a ton of bounces. So today I've got 3 matches with the 110. 2 from Mr. WZ-110 himself, Sir Lance a Little, and 1 from myself. The first 2 matches are kind of fun farming matches. They kind of show off how great the gun really is. But you have to stick around for the last match from Lance. It is absolutely incredible. It shows how this thing can bounce shots that it shouldn't, and how effective the gun really is. So stick around and watch that last one. So in honor of Sir Lancelot, who is sort of our clan's Zen master, the yin to our yang, I decided to do music a little bit calmer today, something a little more melodic and relaxing. So we've got some songs by Youth Lagoon. Enjoy the replays, and please subscribe to the channel.
Let's see.